Hey, welcome back to the Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Monica. And in today's episode, I'm chatting with Lena, one of my Outsourcing Made Easy students, all about her experience of having the support of a virtual assistant in her business. And if you're wondering what a virtual assistant is, because I actually had this question from many of you, like, hey, what even is a virtual assistant? It's someone that can help support you in your business in a whole bunch of different tasks. Like the tasks that you can give them are endless. They're just more of like a general support person, but they are a virtual support person. So they don't actually have to be in person with you. You can just like connect with them virtually. They can be available to you from anywhere in the world and help support you and your business so you can get more of your time back, so you can work on the things that inspire you most, excite you the most, so you can let go of those boring tasks that you might be procrastinating a lot or really dragging your feet to do. And that you're like, I didn't know that being a photographer meant I had to do this boring shit. It's like we all hit that part in our business at some point where we're just ready for like being more creative or learning things that will take our business to the next level. We're ready to market our business more, to get more bookings, but we feel like there's like this thing holding us back from actually having the bandwidth to take on more bookings and be more creative and all of that. And that thing, that bottleneck could be you. It could be you that's like giving it your all, putting in all of the hours, and you're like, why am I working so hard but I can't seem to get more bookings or I can't seem to make more money? It's because you've just like maxed out your hours, you've maxed out your capability, you've maxed out your energy. And so you need support of someone in your business, and an amazing place to start is a virtual assistant. This intro is already longer than I wanted it to. I just kind of like got straight into talking about everything that I'm just so passionate about sharing when it comes to a virtual assistant. But something that's really cool about Lena's story is she actually chose to hire a virtual assistant before she was ready, before her business was busy. And I think it's such a cool, unique, different story, because a lot of the times photographers decide to finally get support when they hit rock bottom, when they're overworked, when they're burnt out, when they are really like spinning their tires and not sure how to get themselves out of this like intense place and workload that they find themselves in. But she was proactive. She decided to think ahead and hire before she was ready. And I just can't wait for you to hear, because she shares with you like what she outsources to her virtual assistant, all the different tasks, how much she pays her, how much time she saves every month, what benefits she gets from that every month in her business, in her personal life. And she even just shares how she got started, that it doesn't have to be as scary as you think, even though she did have the same fears that you probably have right now listening to this. You're like, yes, I want the support, but this, I'm scared of this, or what if it won't work for me? Like, she shares that she also felt those things that are totally natural to feel in this kind of like limbo where you might be in, because I was there too. I was like, yeah, I know I need support, but I'm scared. And or what if I don't have enough hours to give someone yet? Or what if I don't have enough money to pay them? What if I don't get bookings? Like, all of those things are valid and normal fears to feel in this type of, moment in your career. But something that's very interesting is usually these types of fears and thoughts come up when you really want something, right? When you're ready for the next step. And because if you weren't ready, or if it isn't something that needs to happen yet, you wouldn't even have the thoughts, you wouldn't even have the desire of wanting a virtual assistant. And so I really hope that this episode like helps you see that it's possible for Lena to get the help and make this happen for herself, and that it can be possible for you as well. And there's so many different ways and paths that photographers take into growing their business more, and every story is so unique. And so as much as I love to share my story and what works for me, I think it's so important to also hear stories of other photographers, because the more unique paths you hear about, the more you realize, okay, like yeah, the common denominator is getting support in the business is through outsourcing. And they did it this way, and this photographer did it this way. And okay, yeah, like they're doing that, and I can do it my way and still end up with the result that I want, which is the common result of outsourcing is more available time for yourself and making more money. So, literally like busting through that income cap or that glass ceiling that you may be finding yourself in right now if you've maxed out your capacity of how much you can work, how hard you can work, right? Um, all right. So, I mean, I can talk forever about this. So, I'm just going to go straight into the episode. But before I do, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Lena. So, Lena is a documentary photographer in St. Augustine, Florida. She photographs couples in all stages of their life, from anniversaries to date nights, in home sessions, engagements, elopements, weddings, and maternity. Her favorite thing to photograph are large, loud weddings where the love is pouring and overflowing. She considers herself to be a simple person who just wants to connect with people genuinely and skip the small talk. Oh my God, she's speaking my language. I get so awkward at grocery store checkout moments where, person's like checking out your groceries. I'm like, there's not enough time for a deep conversation. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm so freaking awkward. And lastly, she shares that she's also a cheap wine and cheese connoisseur. So clearly, we are kindred spirits because I'm all about that wine and I'm all about that cheese too. Anyway, it was such a joy talking to Lena, and I know you're going to really relate to hearing about her story, and you're going to be able to feel so connected to another photographer and feel less alone on, where you are on your photography journey. So thanks so much for tuning in and enjoy the episode. Okay, Lena, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. Literally, our chat right before recording was like 2 minutes because I was like, no, let's not even talk to each other because there's so much that I want to like hear like live as we're recording. And there's so much about your story that I know I'm really excited to ask you about. But yeah, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast and to actually connect with you like deeper because we've like talked here and there and you've like mentioned in the course groups like your like little successes here there and like over the years, so now we get to actually like face-to-face talk. So I'm so excited and honored to have you on.
Thank you so much for that, Sarah. I am so stoked to be here. As you mentioned, I have been following you and for about a few years now. It's just been so long. I can't believe it. And you've really been a game changer for me in my business. And I cannot believe that I get to be sitting here with you and to tell everybody why they should invest in just everything and anything that you offer, because everything that I have personally been a part of, all the courses have really elevated my business for me. So I'm just really stoked to be here.
Aw, that's so special. Thank you for that. And I really want to just start, I think, with just like a little connection point, right? And like for everybody to get to know you a little bit. And so let us know, what kind of a photographer are you? What do you love to photograph? And some random facts about you and your life, anything that comes to mind.
Okay. So my name is Lena. I'm a documentary wedding photographer. I'm in St. Augustine, Florida, which is the oldest city in the state. And it's very much a tourist city, big time destination place. And so I get to enjoy a lot of different couples that come to St. Augustine to, spend some time here and get married. And I'm really all about documenting the moments as they come. I don't really like to stage a whole lot of like getting ready shots and stuff like that. So that's been like a major thing for me. But I work with any and all couples. I'm very inclusive. In fact, I'm kind of all about that. You
Your
can't.
shirt. She has
I'm
an
wearing my
amazing shirt
rainbow
on.
shirt,
Yeah, her rainbow shirt.
which
It's so
says
cute.
you
Pastel
can love.
colors.
Yep, you can love who you want to love.
Yes, love it.
And some random things about me. I'm married. I have a family with 3 kids and 3 adorable animals, and I'm
Oh,
very, very busy. Very, very busy. And as Sarah and I were saying earlier, just with one kid, it's like insane how busy you can get. And with 3 kids, I thought that being like an entrepreneur is going to give me all this freedom, right? But in reality, you just end up working so hard because you're trying to push yourself and give so much to your kids and, your husband and your life, yourself.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I'm just like I don't understand. Like I have one kid and now it just changed my perspective on parents and how much they have to give of themselves. And then when I hear someone has 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, I'm like, holy crap, how do you do it? How and it's like it just comes down to obviously like systems of strategizing and time management and like, but it's wow. That's
yeah,
incredible.
you have to learn to be very forgiving to yourself because you just literally cannot
Mm,
be there for everything all the time. I can't tell you how
yeah.
many kids games, sports games and stuff like that that I miss, especially during wedding season. So it just happens.
Yeah, and then when you have 3, it's like they have, possibly overlapping things. And then how do you even navigate being like, which kid am I gonna go support? Do you just draw a name out of a hat? Like,
We split up. Like my husband enjoys soccer more, so
okay,
he'll go to the soccer games, and like I'm a baseball mom, so like I'll go to baseball.
yeah,
And so just like that.
that's cool. That makes sense. That
But
makes
we do,
sense because then they have the parent there that's like the most excited about that thing,
that's
and
worse.
you can show up as your best self in that moment. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Oh
And
my gosh.
sometimes we get to all go to something, and that's rare.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so let's dive into this like VA conversation because there's so much to cover here. And I think I do want to start because I remember you mentioned to me that you actually initially signed up for OME, my outsourcing made easy program, before you were really truly busy. And you're like, I just, you know what? I already was in your intuitive storytelling course and I already learned so much through you in other ways that I just like trusted you and I trusted my gut that this is something I would need. And then you mentioned saying that thanks to, doing that, you had your systems in place ahead of time before you got busy. And so
Yeah.
that is something that is so like I'm so happy to hear that because so many times I hear students get to that burnout point, that overwork point, and then they're desperate. Then they're like, I need a solution now. I'm like missing my health is like at its lowest it's ever been. My relationships are suffering. They actually have to have that rock bottom in order to like, so it's really refreshing to hear you just say that you trusted me and you trusted someone that had that experience so that you're like, well, yeah, I trust that that could happen to me if I get busy as a photographer. So I don't want to feel that. So I'm just going to like go for it and start my outsourcing journey. So tell
Hmm.
me a little bit about that cuz I think you signed up for intuitive storytelling like October 2021 and literally a couple weeks later you signed up for OMI, right?
Yeah.
Right after.
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about like where you were at that point and what had you decide to dive into both intuitive storytelling and OMI?
So, well, we'll just start at the root. Like, I know for sure that I cannot afford to be burnt out. Like, mental health is super important to me. I haven't been burnt out by photography, but I've hit like rock bottom, like just depressed, like can't get out of bed before.
Mm,
So for me, with especially with kids and with a family, that's like a really bad place to be. So when I hear other photographers, or when I heard other photographers already kind of talking about how, oh, are you sure you want to go full time? Like, this is no joke. And then I connected with your podcast and you talking about, hey, burnt out, like overwhelmed photographers. I have a solution for you. Like, it all connected the dots for me. So, because I've already taken your intuitive storytelling course and I already knew like the way that you teach, I was familiar with your method. I've been following your podcast. I've been following your Instagram and everything like that. I was like, well, this is the perfect person to teach me. And I had no idea like what I was signing up for really or getting into. And I was honest with you about that, but I was like, hey,
mhm,
I'm planning on being busy. Like, this is the only way I can feed my family. This is going to be my career, my path. Like, I've made that decision. Like, I know I stand by that. So, I really want to know, like, do you think it's worth it? And you were like, well, you're not the usual case. Like, usually I have people signing up that are already kind of have experienced the burnout. But I think that because you know what you want to do, that you should go ahead and go for it, or at
Oh
least
my
attend like the
gosh.
meeting.
I remember that conversation now.
Mhm.
Wow. When you say those words, I'm like, oh my God, yes, I remember that vividly. Cause yeah, I was like, if you can just set this up now, you're going to avoid what most photographers go through.
I can't imagine my life without my VA. It's nearing a year now since
Mhm.
I've had her, and it took me a while to like implement it at first. I think because, like you said, I wasn't super busy, so it's kind of like, whatever. And I think 2 or 3 months into it, I was on one of your calls, and you were like, really giving it to us. You were like, okay, if you haven't started yet, it's been like 2 or 3 months. Like, what are you guys doing? So I was like, yeah, she's right. I need to do this
Tough
today.
love, like straight up
Yeah,
accountability.
that's good
Yes.
stuff. So
Yeah.
FYI, that works.
Yeah. But I do, but also like I always make sure to say, like, I caveat that by saying, if it, like, there's nothing you should be doing, but if you want a certain result, like, you have to take action. So it's not like I'm like drilling my students being like, hey, like, get your shit together. Why haven't you done this lesson yet? Why haven't you? No, it's more like, people are saying like, I want this. I'm tired. I'm tired. Well, I'm
Mhm.
like, well, are you actually taking action? Are you doing the steps in the course? And they're like, well, no, I haven't got to it yet. I'm like, well, that is time to prioritize it and like get it done. And I just love lighting that fire under people's asses, because sometimes like people just need to hear what they need to hear bluntly. And then they're like, it snaps them out of that like daze of like, yeah, but I'm scared, but I don't know. What if I fail? It's like, no, snap out of it. Like,
Totally
so
worth
I'm
it.
happy that that worked for you.
Yeah.
So what was actually, so like you mentioned that you were like kind of like, not taking action maybe for some time, right? And then we had
hmm
that coaching call. um, so what was it that was kind of holding you back from actually taking the step of finding your VA and hiring them and starting the training process?
Probably a few things, but I think in the beginning I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, like if I can give my VA enough hours, or like, is there enough for me to like give to her? Oh my goodness, there's so much. She does so many things for me, and it was like a very quick escalation. I knew I didn't want to call weddings. Like, I really don't like to do that. And so from there, I just added more and more little things to her list, and it just became like a little bit of an obsession for me to see what all I can give to her. And I'm like, at first I was justifying it like, okay, well, she needs the hours, right? So like, she doesn't mind. And now it's like, okay, yeah, I can see where like, yes, does she need the hours? For sure, but it's like, I needed that too. I
Mhm.
needed that.
You need the hours back.
I needed those hours, and she loves it. She loves what she does.
Mhm.
We have actually formed quite a relationship.
Mm.
I'd say, I mean, she's definitely my VA, but we're very friendly, and she like follows me on Facebook, and she kind of knows like what my like she'll like my family photos and stuff like that. She's a
Oh.
very sweet person, and honestly, she didn't have a ton of VA experience. I actually interviewed several people, I think 4 or 5, and out of everybody, she had the least experience, but she had 3 kids. um she and I were the same age, similar values. She like put a lot of values into like love and family, and like those sensitive emotional moments. So I knew that for calling, because that's where I started, that
Mm.
was like the right person for me. And then I
Mhm.
taught her everything else.
I love that. I love that you listened to my advice on it's not like people don't actually have to be qualified for what you're trying, the tasks that you want people to let go. That's a whole separate conversation. But
Yeah.
I love that you just trusted me and you just went for it. And this is now what you have. And I want to go back to you mentioning that fear or like that limiting belief that kept you stuck and not in action was, I don't know if I can give enough hours, right? And I
Right.
think there's this misconception photographers have. It's like a myth of like, well, if I'm going to hire help, it needs to be either part-time or full-time. Part-time or
Right.
full-time. I remember I used to think that, but
Mhm.
it's like it's not true. You can actually like you can find a freelance virtual assistant and you can start small by like 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, like small, right? And then you can continue to build that relationship and give them more hours if you need. So, if that was like, was that the only thing that you felt was keeping you stuck and out of action, or was there another thing, a fear
Um,
or limiting belief that popped up for you?
Probably I was a little worried that I wouldn't have enough work or wouldn't make enough money or something
Mm,
like that. But honestly, with having her, I'm able to take on so much more work because, like, I was about to tell you earlier, but I didn't want to spill the beans too early.
hmm.
I am on like a so I just finished a 7-day streak of sessions, weddings, elopements. Like, I've been very busy this past weekend and week.
Wow.
And I have already literally gotten 2 out of the 4 main galleries like called and back from her. Like, I have already submitted the sneak peeks to those clients. I think I'm on my third one right now. Sorry, I'm like I have 5 or 6 juggling. So,
Yeah.
and I have already sent back those 2 main ones where I did the sneak peeks, and I sent those to the client, and then I sent back the rest of the gallery right back over to her. And with like your training, it takes no time, to do that, to go back and forth like that. That was
Yeah.
scary at first. And she's already going to start working like on their actual wedding gallery. And so my clients are getting their wedding galleries back in less than a month.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And that's
I could never
incredible
do this by
client
myself.
experience, like, and leads to more referrals and leads to
Yeah.
so
So
many
what happens
benefits.
is
Yeah.
they get their gallery in less than a month and they're so thrilled and they post it everywhere. And I just received like a booking from a friend of my last bride because she's like, oh, the wedding photos were so amazing. And it's like I can get more quicker
Yeah.
work, which is so important to me because I'm feeding, 5 mouths. So
Yeah. And isn't it interesting how if only you listened to that fear of, I don't know, is it going to be too much money? Am I going to even have work to give her? How, if that kept you stuck, like if you held on to that fear, that would have been your reality because you wouldn't actually have enough time to market yourself more or shoot more or create such a exceptional client, have the time to create such an exceptional client experience that it leads to these incredibly like fast referrals, right? So it's like it's just opened up this world for you. Okay, let's talk about, because I know people are wondering right now, okay, like what does she give her to do? So like what are some of the tasks that you give your VA to do? Like just like list them out, whatever comes to your head.
perfect. Will
Yeah.
do. I can see it in my head because I do this, I'm in the system every day.
Mm-hmm.
So calling was my number one first outsource.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did some like not blogs because I like to write my own blogs, but the layouts and stuff
Mm-hmm.
for the blog and then like renaming images and stuff like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
gave that to her. She creates the shot list and then like the vendor list.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I send questionnaires to my clients, and then she gathered the answers. I use HoneyBook, but I'm sure all CMSs have that, where
Mm-hmm.
she is like an admin, and she gathers the answers from these questionnaires, and she puts together lists for me. So all I have to do is go and print out my list on the day of the wedding, and I'm good to go. She For a while she was doing like Facebook stuff, which I have gotten away from, but she would go on there and like find people looking for a photographer and like comment with my information.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also runs a second Instagram for me, which is like a side Instagram for me and my other business partner that we have. So she fully like I give her all the photos and she fully puts together like graphics and like a schedule for that, and she runs that. She helps me with Pinterest. She now, and this is like a year later, she does slideshows for my clients. Like whenever I deliver in the client gallery, she takes the images and she puts together the slideshow to music. So we've gone back and forth, but we figured out like a good music balance, and like, it's
Mm-hmm.
a little, it takes a little bit of get and go, like to train them, but like once they've got it, I mean, it's like nothing. It's so
Yeah.
easy.
Once they get it, like once that training part is over, doesn't it feel like you have this extra weight lifted off your shoulders? The world opens up. You can hear birds singing. Like every time I let go of a
Absolutely.
new task, that's the experience I have.
Absolutely. I'm currently trying to figure out how to get her to like leave Google reviews for all my vendors with like my photos in like future venues that I want to shoot at. Like I haven't figured out how to
Smart.
get her log in there without like giving her my info, but I will.
Hmm.
I will.
Yeah. You can try 1Password.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay. This is kind of what I'm using now.
it's like oh my God.
It keeps all the passwords together.
Yeah, in one place, and then you can invite her as a team member into it, and then it
Mm,
autofills the information for logging in on a
perfect.
browser. And it's, oh, see, I am technical language. Oh my God. It's, what's that word where it's kept really encrypted? It's
Oh,
encrypted.
encrypted. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect. That's
where
what I
even
need.
the company doesn't know the password. So if the company doesn't know, it's like a whole thing. It's safe.
So if she
I did
doesn't
a
know
ton
it,
of
she can't
research.
like technically like take all my stuff and like bomb it all, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a
Okay,
solution.
cool.
That's a quick solution.
Okay,
But
awesome. I will
yeah,
definitely look into that. I was just about to start looking into that, but like my list is still going. Like
yeah.
it's
So you had
crazy, right?
slideshows. So what else? What else?
Yep.
What else does
What
she do?
else? Oh, so she wanted, like, she was asking me for a little bit more work, or like, she also has like another photographer that she now works for that is a friend of mine, but she
Hmm.
was asking me for a little bit more work. So I was like, oh, I'm currently outsourcing my editing to an editor. Why don't I try and see if I can teach you? Because all it really is copying and it's not like, my editing isn't like so intense that she can't,
Hmm.
do it. So I have now taught her how to edit in Lightroom for me. So I now send back the galleries to be edited with like the
Hmm.
anchor images, and I'm always like giving feedback. So she's getting like better and better. And now I'm starting to slowly teach her how to do things in Photoshop, like remove my shadow out of
Hmm.
things and stuff like that. So
Nice.
getting there.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's
and
so much.
album design,
Album design, yes.
all
You
that.
did the
Yeah.
module passive
Mhm.
income through album
We
design.
actually, Sarah, we make the album designs. Like I assign it to her right after I deliver the gallery about a week later.
Hmm.
She makes the layout, and we figured out a way to put it in a cute little video slideshow.
Hmm.
And then we send it to them, even if they didn't even ask about an
Ah, as
album.
to
And so
potentially
they
get a
can
sale.
order. Yeah, Honeybook has like an option where you can just like take, see the slideshow and then maybe add it onto their cart and then just order straight from the system.
Amazing.
So
Amazing. And this is like, all of this would have been so much more work for you to do yourself, and you probably would have not done
totally.
it, and then it leads to less income. Like when you don't have the support that you need in your business, you are totally giving yourself an income ceiling. Like point blank, if you're not outsourcing, if you're not getting support, you are capping your income. It's
Yeah.
and actually, let's talk about money. Let's talk about
Okay.
money, because I think there's a huge um again, this idea of like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so expensive. Like if I want support in my business, I want to make sure it's quality support, and that's going to cost money. And that's total myth, because like there's so many options. And like one option that I love to use and I love to teach my students is how to ethically hire someone overseas, where it's literally just the exchange rate on the dollar that makes it much cheaper for us, but they're getting paid just as if they had a job there normally, which is incredible. And they get to work from home, like be selective with who they work with. It's a freaking win-win situation. And so yeah, Lena, can you share with us, like, on average, like how much do you spend about a month on your VA?
Absolutely. I
And how
can.
many hours does that give you back? So like Give us some
I
numbers.
I do. I want to give you numbers, but I just want to tell you. So just a couple of days ago, this is my VA's name is Aiza, and she's from the Philippines. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we've become like friendly. She's like we have a relationship because we work so much together and so well together. And this is something she kind of wrote to me, and I wanted to share. Is that okay?
Of
And then
course.
I will
Yeah,
give numbers.
totally.
So like you're talking about ethically, like hiring overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that I've literally given her like so much more of a life than she would have been able to have, like without having me as her employer. So she wrote just the other day, I was just a plain housewife until you taught me what I do now. I'm so proud of myself and thanks to you. I now know how to call and edit and not just basic admin tasks. You're a good teacher and you have a pure soul that is very passionate about your work. That's what I like about you. Very straightforward and gentle at the same time. I found not just the client relationship, but I found the friend in you.
Oh my
She's a
gosh.
mother of three, and she's now able to like provide more for her children. And there's nothing like that means more to me.
Exactly.
Okay, now before I
Thank
cry.
you so much for sharing that because there is totally a stigma around hiring overseas. Like, because it could be as low as like $5 an hour for us that we can be spending for support in our
Mhm.
business. And there's like two things that go with that, like unethical, like straight stigma goes with that. And number two, it wouldn't be quality support because why is it so cheap, right? But it's fascinating when you can take someone that has no experience but is you has the qualities that you are looking for, that I teach exactly what qualities to look for to find a quality candidate. What everything is trainable, and when they have that hunger to learn something new and earn money for their family and work from home, oh my gosh, do they give 110%. And you get to give that to them and you get to receive a more affordable way of getting support in your business and not having to break the bank. So, would you agree with all of that, Lena?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
we're just coming up on a year review here in May. So I'm planning to give her a good raise as well. And I've
Mhm.
given her a raise at half a year, and I'm able to like send her bonuses and stuff like that. So it's, I mean, yeah, am I paying way less than I would be paying for a virtual assistant in the States? I am. But I don't feel bad about it because it's more than way more than their minimum wage. I pay $7 an hour now,
Mhm.
and I'm planning to go up maybe to 850. I haven't really decided yet. I know
Mhm.
she wants to eventually make $9, $10 an hour, so that is what she asked for.
Mhm.
We're like working our way to it, and I'm just teaching her more and more tasks so she can be like more qualified and have
Yes.
more experience. And with experience, that's what I'm like, that's where the money comes in too.
Mhm.
um, so to go back to that, so I pay her $7 an hour, and she puts in about 10, 15 hours a week for me. So anywhere, I've paid her anywhere from like 140 to I think 250-ish per 2 week period,
Mhm.
which um, I was able to make way back and more, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like such a good exchange because I feel good about providing for her, and like we're always very open about what she needs. And
Mhm.
the rate was something that she suggested in the beginning, so it was like a back and forth. I asked her how much she would like to be paid with her level of experience, and then she named a number. And I think like then I named a number and kind of came in the middle. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing is like it's always an evolution as they learn new skills. Like, yes, they just continue to deserve a raise. And you can even offer like health benefits, even if it's like not someone that's like part-time or full-time or your official employee, quote unquote. If they are working like maybe even like 20 hours a week, 15 hours a week, like if you can spend, I don't know, it always varies, but maybe $150 a year on your end and they get like such incredible health benefits, that's another way to really impact someone's life in a positive way as they are impacting yours. It's this beautiful relationship that can happen. And yeah, it's just, I love it so much. I can't express enough all the benefits that come with having the support of a VA. And Lena, I would love to ask you, what are some top of mind benefits that maybe you haven't mentioned yet, that come to mind with having this person, this VA in your life, helping you in your business?
Are we talking? We're not talking numbers anymore, right? We're moving on to.
If you have any other numbers that come to mind that let's do that. And then we can go talk about benefits.
I don't have any numbers that come to mind right now, but I know that you're talking about health benefits. That is
Mm-hmm.
actually something that I was considering starting this year. Now that
Mm-hmm.
she's been with me for a full year, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
very happy with her. So that was actually something that I was gonna look into on my end and maybe ask her about. But otherwise, I mean, the biggest benefit for me has definitely been my mental health. Like I'm very busy now, and I can't imagine like not being able to have that other person that is bearing a load of my tasks with me, because it's not like I can turn to my kids all the time and just be like, no, I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when I want to be, present with my family first, and I can now do that. I'll be like, give me 1 second. I'm like sending stuff over to my virtual assistant. I usually call her by name at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
say I'm sending stuff over to Aiza, like, and then I'll be able to hang out. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to be able to do that, even
And
with like smaller sessions, sometimes not weddings. Like I'm feeling like a little bit burnt out this week. I'm gonna send her all these little sessions to edit because I'm just like, I just need me time.
yeah, yeah. And would you, so what was I going to ask? Oh yeah. So now imagine a life where you have the workload you have now, but you didn't have her support and you have your family, you have your three kids. What, is that doable? What,
I literally can't. Like
yeah.
I literally can't. I think like I would rather eat ramen noodles for a week and pay my VA so that she stays on, like if I'm like down to the wire,
Mm.
because I just like need mental sanity. Like
Yeah. Yeah. You
it's
can't
not
even,
it's not even a number thing. I can't even put it in numbers,
yeah.
It's just I just
Yeah.
need
Having that support is priceless. And,
that.
um, oh my gosh. I keep having freaking brain farts because there's so many things I want to talk about. Actually,
Same,
I
right?
do want I do want to go back to actually the money conversation because you did say, okay, so let me just pull out my calculator here. So let's say on average, so $7 an hour times on, would you say average 15 hours a week?
Yeah.
Okay, 15 hours a week.
15.
Times four. So that's 420 hours a month that you're,
Oh, wait,
no, wait, no.
that's money.
Oh my God, yeah, that's funny.
That's how much I pay her.
I totally, okay. Okay, sorry. 15 times four. Okay, 60 hours a month. 60 hours a month is how much time Lena gets back, right? And so times seven, that's $420 a month, right? So
Yeah.
just think about like how much more, how many more bookings do you feel like you have the capacity to take on with that time saved? And then estimate how much more money do you think you're able to bring in? Like if we're spending 420, right? Haha, 420 for all the weed smokers out there. If we're spending 420, then how much do you think your return on investment is in that through being able to book more sessions and weddings?
Good question. So I know that this is the first year that I was able to put a cap on my work, because like I know now that I need to make a certain amount. So I think that it all goes together for me, which is why I'm bringing this up. Because before I was too kind of scared to do that. Like I would just take on everything and anything, because like, oh, what if I lose, I just couldn't afford to like lose that money. And now I know for sure the work is coming, and I
Mhm.
know how much I'm able to take on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But as far as how many more I can take on, I think it's a question of like, I'm feeling better about charging more now too,
Mhm.
so I can take on less, because, I am giving like quality back. I'm not, tired. I'm not showing up tired from my weddings. Like, I'm showing up like refreshed. I'm like ready to shoot. So all of those things, I think, combined, do allow for me to be like a better photographer, and so making more money. But as far as
Mhm.
how many more sessions do I take, um, probably it's hard for me to answer, because I probably take less sessions now than I used to, but make more, if that makes
That makes
sense.
sense. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. So
like,
I love that you did that. But like, but if you were so in the work, if you were there culling, putting together the blog layouts,
oh yeah,
slideshows, you wouldn't have time to like
no,
really see, okay, where can I raise my rates? How can I improve my client experience? Like you would just be on like reactive mode and not
hmm,
actually growing your business. You would just be an employee working in your business. You wouldn't be a boss, right?
right.
And you feel like you have this extra space and time to grow in that way, right?
Yeah, well, even the extra Instagram that she runs, and the
Hmm.
Pinterest brings me in traffic, and she does, like my website stuff, which is Google, brings me in traffic. I've had her take Pinterest courses and SEO course for me, which I didn't have to take because she did it, and she's
Yeah.
doing it for me. So like all of these things that I wouldn't be able to either get to, or I would be busy. I could literally sit here every single day and work on admin tasks from sun up to sundown, probably easily, and then like never even be able to like shoot,
Yeah.
because there are
Yeah.
so many things to do all the time. If I wanted to give the same level of experience, if
Yes.
I didn't have my VA, then I would have to downsize the level of work and experience that I produce for the clients. So, for
Yes.
example, as I mentioned earlier, I just finished like a wedding gallery, and the bride was so excited. She shared it everywhere, and I received an immediate booking inquiry for a maternity session from a friend of hers that liked her photos. So
Yeah.
there's already, $400+ right there
Yeah.
from being able to deliver the gallery like a month earlier than some would.
Yeah, exactly. And even like having like, would you say that time is like your most valuable asset? Because
Absolutely.
yeah, because you can decide if I have 5 hours in a day to work, for example, or six, what is number one, what excites me the most? What do I actually want to work on? Do I want to work on my creativity? Do I actually want to learn how to shoot maybe different like angles or or do I want to, connect with my clients more? Do I want to like get creative and market my business in a fun way to get me my dream clients? It's like those are like the zone of genius tasks that actually bring in income. But if you're sitting there behind your computer, putting together a blog layout when you could be marketing your business, or you're copying and pasting questionnaire info from one thing to a piece of digital paper when you could be, practicing new creative skills that will then elevate your work, that would then mean you can charge more money and leave you more fulfilled as an artist. Like that's what's going to keep you on that like stuck hamster wheel and feeling creatively uninspired, right? So yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so passionate about this. And
Me too.
yeah, you
Well,
too.
just like calling a wedding, like I've already shot the wedding, it's done. Like I don't necessarily need to go through 25 variations of family photos to make sure all their eyes are open in the one photo I'm going to deliver. Like she does that
Mhm. Yeah.
because I taught her to do that. So now I don't have to like spend, you know, 2 hours calling through a wedding album. All I have to do is spend, 15, 20 minutes like looking over what
Reviewing.
she
Yeah.
picked.
Yeah. And what would you say to someone? Because I know right now there's a photographer that's sitting there thinking, oh my God, culling, but what if they pick like the wrong images and that's my work and like no one can do it as well as I can? Like, how will they know what images to pick? It's like, because I definitely felt that too when I first decided to outsource my culling. I was terrified. I've had all those like reasons, objections, all of that. What would you say to like, what would you say to someone that's like, I don't know, maybe it's possible for her, but it's not possible for me?
Oh my, I felt the same way. I mean, I was like, oh, this is my baby. What am I doing? But basically, from the very beginning, like if you choose a person that you feel like their qualities like align, like for me, like she was a family person, so I knew like she would be interested in the similar kind of images that I'm interested in, connection, touching, like hugging, all that stuff. And then I also the first, I would say like couple of months, I was very thorough with feedback.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really take her that long to really nail it down, but there were things like she would maybe pick an image and like one of the people would be making like a weird face, and I'd be like, hey, so you
Mm-hmm.
gotta like zoom in on some of these and like really look at their face, because sometimes you just like are going through these so fast you don't notice. So over time, if you give feedback, like I mean, most people learn within maybe, I mean, 2, 3 like of the same type of feedbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are maybe like 2 or 3 videos that I've had to make for like, okay, pay attention to open eyes and not making weird faces. But honestly, as far as with the type of images that she was picking, I found that they were very genuinely very similar to what I would have picked, because like from the beginning I kind of chose her like because our values align so
Mm-hmm.
much. So it really wasn't, that wasn't an issue as I thought it would be. And that
Yeah.
makes me, but it
Yeah.
has gotten better and better too. And now this last, I was just actually singing her praises because this last wedding that she just sent back, like they were all they were all amazing images. I didn't have to make like hardly
Those
any
are the
adjustments.
best moments. That's when the work pays off.
Right.
It's just like us photographers initially, we had to put in the work and the effort to learn our camera on manual. It was not maybe not fun, like, maybe not the most inspiring, but it's like that was kind of like a bridge, right? If we were on one side of the bridge and want to get to the next side of the bridge, which was to be able to shoot photos on manual effortlessly, you had to like take the time to walk across and do the work. But then when you're on the other side, it's like automatic in your mind. It's like driving a car. So it's like Lena initially was, I don't know how to hire a virtual assistant. I don't know how to find one. How do I find the right person? How do I interview them? How do I make sure they're the right fit? How do I train them? She didn't know the how, but she did the work and crossed the bridge. And now she's on the other side where she's reaping the rewards, and it's a more automated system in her business. I'm so proud of you, like so proud of you for doing that. And it's incredible that, oh my gosh, it just time flies sometimes when it's like I realized you signed up for Omi like October 2021, and now it's all this time later and you're getting support 15 hours a week, which is incredible. I'm actually curious, so along your journey though, was there a point where you felt like giving up or throwing the towel or being like, no, like outsourcing, it's not, I don't want to like do it, or like not necessarily that dramatic, like I don't want to do outsourcing again, but maybe like did you have a moment of like any moments that felt harder, like I don't feel like giving this feedback, or I'm too lazy to like put together this job posting? Did you have any part resistance moments throughout the process?
Hmm. I don't think so. Good question. No, I think probably the interview was like my least favorite part, but not because I was like lazy or I don't want to do it, but more because I'm like I want to give everybody an opportunity. Like I don't
Mm.
know, I just like I want to give everyone a job, and I'm like I have to pick
Oh.
one person, and then there was like maybe another time where uh, I was still doing I was still giving tasks to my VA, but then I also had my editor, so I had like 2 people that I was outsourcing to,
Hmm.
and I sort of had like oh, I wish I could merge this, but then it just happened all at once for me. And I mean, I know like maybe it's not possible for every single VA to like also be an editor too, but it's I think worth it to ask them at some
Hmm.
point. If they're not already an editor, maybe that could be like one of the last things, just to get them kind of familiar with the business and everything. But that was probably one part where I was like, oh, I don't know like what to do with this. But
Yeah. But the beautiful thing is, like, wouldn't you say it's so customizable? Like,
yeah,
like you can hire a virtual assistant overseas to teach them how to cull and edit, and they could do that. If you're high volume, let's say, 30 something weddings a year, maybe they just cull and edit, and then you can have another separate virtual assistant that does all the other tasks, admin, all this other stuff, because you want to be mindful, like you don't want to hire someone and if they don't like and overwork them, right?
Right.
Unless they are specifically telling you, I need the money, I need the hours, give me 60 hours, I'm good for it, right? But obviously, ideally, you want to give someone a max 40 hours a week. So yeah, if you can kind of like, it depends on your volume. So maybe for Lena, it works like as she's raising her prices and choosing to be more selective with the bookings she takes. Maybe now, if her VA now has 15 hours a week, and she's like, hey, do you want to try editing so you can get to 40 hours a week? And they're like, yeah, then that's amazing. Now you can get them to 40 hours a week. But the beautiful thing about hiring a freelancer is there's never pressure to have to give them a certain amount of hours. You decide that. I teach you from the get-go how to communicate that effectively in a job posting, exactly the expectations of hours. So it's all customizable. It's so fun. Like it's so fun to have that. And even how you mentioned earlier, how it's like a game to you now, right? You're like, ooh, what else can I let go of, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the Google reviews, just
Yeah.
another step in the process. My offboarding, so to speak, like my onboarding and offboarding has just been able to grow so much because now like I'm able to give so many more things to them as I offboard them, so to speak. So like the slideshow is like part of offboarding, or like the album preview. And now I kind of want to now I'm able to have her send
So you mean offboarding, you mean like
the
delegating?
client, like as you're like you onboard a client, and then you have like the day
Oh,
of wedding, and then you offboard the client.
got it. Yeah, yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't know if that's a
Yeah,
expression,
yeah.
but I feel like I'm kind of a nerd because I used to work in like tech and corporate and stuff, so I have like these expressions that
That makes
I'm
sense.
carrying
Yeah.
over into my world now.
Yeah.
Um, like I'll be like, I don't have the bandwidth for that.
Yeah.
That's like such a corporate thing to say.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, so part of that is like the offboarding. I'm able to now give them so much more as a client, and now I'm adding little things such as the venue reviews, like where once I deliver the gallery, my VA also sends it to like all the vendors and
Mhm.
venues that were involved so
Mhm.
that they can also download some photos. And then I'm also trying to get her to leave those like Google reviews. So when people like go and search for a venue, they're going to see like the reviews, and they might see like your photos
Yeah.
and hire you, right? As a
Yeah.
photographer. So like that's now part of becoming part of my process. And I just keep adding things on, like
Mhm.
reaching out a year later to see if they want to like rebook like an anniversary shoot, and just those little things that I'm
Yeah.
able to now focus
Add.
on to see what more can I add,
Yeah.
because like she has taken editing and calling and all this other stuff off my plate.
Yeah. And then the beautiful part is that when you can really um not perfect, because nothing is ever perfect, but like refine these processes and workflows that you have. It's like one thing that's so cool about processes and workflows is that they're consistent. It's like new client, this is the workflow. You take every step, you do every step, and then it's done. And it's like, yeah, if you can just like strategically think of like additional steps to add that are just consistent, and like you just show your VA once, okay, this is the new step, this is added to the workflow, and then they just consistently do that for you, like the compound effect of those new strategies and techniques and um improved client experience, the compound of that, someone else doing that for you, the compound effect of you saving all that time that they're doing for you and getting those additional results is so fun too. That's how you can just see your business like grow and grow and grow. And yeah, it's like limitless what you can do with support in your business.
Right, right. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've experienced the same thing too, so I know you're like you and I were aligned on this, like we know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
gross for
gosh.
sure.
It's been so great chatting with you. I'm just wondering, is there any words that you have for any photographers that are like, oh my gosh, this sounds like a dream. Like I want to let go of the boring tasks or the things that like don't inspire me. And just get more support in my business. But like, I'm nervous. I'm nervous to take that step. Like, what would you say to a photographer that wants to get a VA, but it still has that nervous feeling?
Yeah, if you're on the fence, I would say like run, don't walk. Like this is 100 million% worth it. If you're anyone that has other things that they want to do except for sit in front of the computer for hours and hours and hours on end, so like for me, for example, I start my morning with a walk and run, meditation, like journaling. Like I don't even hop on my if you want to be able to have more time for you and like your family and your hobbies, like this is 100% for you. Even if you haven't even started to get super super busy yet, like if you just invest in your future, invest in yourself, I think the mental mindset is if you believe that you're going to get there, then you will. So if you believe that you're going to need this VA and you're going to be busy and you're going to be able to have all that time for yourself, I almost guarantee you that you will get there.
So beautifully said. I cannot agree more. It's that like inner knowing inside, like it's that like hunger of like wanting something so bad that you're just like, I'm gonna make it happen. I am committed. And because I'm committed to like getting my photography business to actually be the thing where I make money through. I'm committed, I'm going to make it happen. Then yeah, that belief is what fuels us every day, right? Like didn't you feel like when you were like when you're constantly like growing your photography business, it's that like motivation of I see what I can have. I see it in my mind and I want it, and that's what keeps you motivated to keep taking action, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, like, let's just be honest, like, we have so much, like, just with like Instagram or marketing, and showing your face and all that stuff that we do. I mean, like, where do you find the time for all the other tasks? Like, it's just, I just feel like at this point that I can like look back and I see it all in front of me, like, obvious that I'm like, you just have to, you have to do this. Like you have to do this as a full time. No other company is like doing it all by themselves. Am I right? Like
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
have to have someone else to help you if you want to grow. Like
Yeah.
you just have to. Every company starts with one, two people, and then they grow, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
my opinion.
Thank you so much, Lena,
Of
for
course.
those inspiring words, for sharing your story. And I know this is going to inspire and open up so many eyes of photographers, and that's going to lead to a huge impact. Like that's one thing that's just so beautiful, a ripple effect. I probably say this on every student success story podcast episode at the end. I'm like, I feel like I've said this many times because even you sharing that the little note that your VA sent you of like the ripple effect that creates, it's like, wow. Like, so you sharing what you're sharing is going to open up the eyes of photographers that see this as possible for them. That's going to create more quality time for them with their families, with themselves, with their creativity. And on top of that, there's going to be more VAs out there that get to have that additional quality of life that they want and career that they want of being a freelance VA. So, wow, that's beautiful. So, thank you so much for taking the time out of your, you know, successful business now and your family of 3 kids. I still can't get my mind over. So, thank you so much for everything. And then yeah, where can everybody find you if they want to like connect with you, if they want to send you a DM, oh my God, thank you, or like asking you a question, like where can everybody find you?
Oh, I would love that. I also really, really love like just any kind of mental health, anything. So I do put out a lot of reels and just TikTok content, like talking about how my mental health is doing and how I'm keeping like that up. So
Mm.
if you're interested in following me, I'm all over the place. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, um, Pinterest, and I'm always the same. It's the same handle for everything. Lena Christine Photo. So LenaChristine Photo, and you can find me anywhere basically.
Amazing. Lena Christine photo. Easy to remember. And that's Lena with an E, Lena.
Yep.
And we will link it in the show notes. So yeah, if you got a lot of value out of this, send over a DM to Lena and just thanking her because I know her soul would definitely appreciate that and it'll give her some energy back. And also please tag us and share this episode on social. If you want to like help me with this movement that I'm really trying to create in the industry right now, which is to not like to really shift like from overwork being the norm to having harmony as a photographer being the norm. If you want to help with this movement, please share this episode, screenshot it right now on your phone, go on to your story, tag me at Sarah Monica Photo, Sarah no H, Monica with a K, and then Lena Christine Photo. And just mention like photographers, oh my God, like if you're burnt out or overworked and you really want a way that's like ethical and affordable to get support, like this could be an option for you. Or just share it with your photographer friends. Like this needs to spread like wildfire because, yeah, mental health is so important. And we do so much for the world by creating these beautiful memories and images for our clients. And we deserve to have the support that we need as well. And our families and friends deserve to have more time with us. So please, if you could just support the movement this way, that would be amazing. And you could also be a part of this ripple effect that we are here trying to create. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And till next time. Well, there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed listening to that candid chat with Lena. I just love everything she shared so much. And the fact that you're still listening to this episode right now means that you're definitely looking for a way to spend more of your time on things that excite you in your business and less time on the creativity sucking stuff. And some part of you is really serious about growing your business to the next level. Am I right? So, if you are that freedom driven photographer that I know you are, who wants to work smarter instead of harder, I have an exciting announcement for you. So many photographers have asked me about where to find a great virtual assistant. And I've seen so many make the mistake of hiring a virtual assistant only based on referrals and overpaying for results they're not even happy with. That's just backwards, and I know how to fix that. So, I have an exciting announcement. I've put together a 5-day live workshop with a 30-minute lesson each day so that everything is totally bite sized, chunked out just right for you. That will help freedom driven photographers like you finally find your dream and affordable virtual assistant so that you can get more done without compromising the quality of your work and your income. Oh, and get this, the workshop is only $33. Yes, you get 5 whole straight days with me. You get to ask me questions at the end of every single lesson. You get homework, literally step by step homework, where I will tell you today, take this step and you will get this result. It's like a no-brainer investment. I made sure to price this how it is because I want to make sure that you are, being proactive with your season ahead and getting the support you need for the season because mental health matters so much and I want you to have the best season yet. I want you to enjoy your work, feel fulfilled creatively, and also enjoy your personal life. And it's all possible with the help of a virtual assistant. So I really, really want to help you find your dream and affordable virtual assistant. So to get on the wait list, if this episode is coming out now, I mean, it already came out. Make sure to get on the wait list, but it also might be registration time now, depending on when you're listening to this episode. But to get on the wait list or register, go to sarahmonica.com/VA. And then you can just pop in there, register, only pay $33 for it. And yeah, that's it. I won't be hosting this workshop again this year at all, ever. If anything, I might be hosting it again in the spring of 2024. So you definitely don't want to miss this. You want to get the 5 steps to finding your dream and affordable VA that I will hand to you on a silver platter. And you're also going to be a part of a secret and private Facebook community where all the other photographers there are literally aligned with the same challenge that week. They're going to be doing the same steps as you are. You can ask questions in there. I'll be there supporting you. Other photographers will be there supporting you. They'll be letting you know what worked for them. It's just going to be such a supportive experience, and I cannot wait to see you in there. So again, go to sarahmonica.com/VA, and I cannot wait to help you find your VA. Yay! Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at Sarah Monica Photo. That's Sarah no H, Monica with a K, photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.